Hey viewers, my name's Cara. I'm your Tuesday host on the Pagan Perspective, and welcome to 2014. This week we're starting off with just a personal opinion, personal story type of topic, and our questioner wanted to know what we would consider the most spiritually profound thing that we've learned or experienced on our paths. And usually in this situation I would look up the word profound, but I'm not on the computer. Wait, I have a dictionary. Hold on, let's do this. Talk about old school, getting out the actual book. Profound, having intellectual depth and insight, difficult to fathom or understand, extending below the surface, coming from, reaching to, or situated at a depth. And then the second type is the archaic usage, something that is very deep, specifically the depths of the sea. Having intellectual depth or insight, or things that are literally very deep. So the most intellectually deep thing, or the having the most insight, well, I have a lot of insights that I could share, but when you talk about something that's really spiritually profound, my first thought is of, the stories that you would hear from people of experiencing absolute miracles and transformations and things like that. And while I haven't experienced anything quite like that, but when I think about what's been really profound in my path, there are definitely some things that I consider to have been really huge, moments, sort of like epiphanies or just really good insights. But I don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing all of those things because they're very personal experiences. And I've told some stories of things here and there in responses to other people, in little brief comments or on a blog, things like that. I've talked about some of these things, but never really in depth. And I don't think I want to talk about them in depth because those were my things, and to share them with, a few people here and there is one thing, but to share them with the entire internet public, to me, wouldn't be right. So I will share some of the things that I do feel comfortable with sharing. And the rest of the things that I would even share, I think would just seem really silly to you because, as I said, they're not like the da-da, like there's going to be drums and fanfare kind of, like when you see in the movies. The things that I consider really spiritually profound that I've experienced are kind of just little things, but then again, that's how I experience the world and how I experience magic and how I do things. It's all about the little things. So there have been some really cool moments of feeling like deity really listened to me, or the universe really listened to me and gave me a direct message, or even so much as directly touched me physically, and something happened to me that let me know, okay, they are here, or it is here if it's the universe, and actually listening and actually is here as a part of my life. And those things are really profound to me, even though they are little simple things that other people would just kind of throw away. And then there were some times in England that may be stereotypical to say that, oh, I went to England and these magic things happened, but some really cool things did happen there, and I went to some really awesome places. I didn't get to go all the places that I wanted to go, but I did. One of the best experiences I had in England was when we got to go to Glastonbury Tour, and I had actually signed up to lead the discussion and teach my class about Glastonbury Tour. So when we got to Glastonbury Abbey, and we walked around and we were supposed to sketch something from the Abbey. It was my course that I took with it was English Literature and Landscape Architecture. So actually somewhere around here packed up I have the sketchbook, my journal, that we had sketching assignments, and we had to draw the landscapes and draw little features, and then we had to journal about it, and we got different writing prompts. So when we were at Glastonbury Abbey, I remember I drew a long shot. There was a niche in one of the remaining standing walls that was sort of a perfect size for me. It was a pretty warm day, and I had my coat resting on the bottom of the niche so that I wouldn't scrape it up or anything, and I got up and sat in this little niche, and I drew a long shot down what would have been like the grand hall of Glastonbury Abbey. And of course they have the high altar, where the high altar would have been is roped off in a section in the grass. I just remember this whole view and thinking about what did this used to look like and now what it is, and it's been reduced so much to the earth. Part of my journal entry was me saying, now there are no walls, and now this happened, and yada yada, and I had mentioned the high altar now rests on the ground. And my professor sort of like underlined that and like put a note next to it, and he was like, wow. And so I thought that it was a cool observation, but the fact that my professor also thought it was a really cool observation made me really like it even that much more. And so then things like that. And then we walked to Glastonbury Tor. It started to rain. It was not pouring, but it was a pretty heavy rain to be walking up Glastonbury Tor. And I'm not even a smoker, and there were some smokers in our group, and I was having a hard time walking up this hill. And we weren't even going up the steep end. We were going up the long, gradual end, but oh my gosh, was it difficult. And it was raining, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it was a trial. But the amazing thing was that as soon as you get to the top step, there's not even a moment for me, there wasn't even a moment where I had to catch my breath before adjusting. As soon as you reach the top, all of the pain that was just in your body from struggling up this tor is just gone. It's just alleviated. And when we got to the top, you're going to laugh at me because we're on YouTube and there's a joke about this, but we got to the top and there was a double rainbow. And of course everyone yelled, "Double rainbow!" But it was really cool. Like after that initial reaction, everyone did kind of just stand around and stare at these rainbows. And we looked around and we're like, we can see like a whole bunch of the English countryside. And there was a farm on a hill a little ways over where they had cut a heart shape into the grass on the field, and everyone was just spinning around and putting their faces up to the rain, and there was this little girl there with her dad, and she had a Jane hat on. She was just the cutest thing, and I told her, "I love your hat," and she was like, "Oh, I like your scarf," or whatever I had on me, and she came over and danced with us, and we held our arms up to the rain and just experienced, you know, really being on Glastonbury Tor. That was just really, really cool. I had a similar spiritual experience when we went to see the Uffington White Horse, because I was very sick that day and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to make it to the Uffington White Horse and then to the Wayland Smithy, because there was no bathroom on the bus that day that we had, and there are no bathrooms at those parks. There's a big parking lot, but no porta potties or anything like that. And I was really feeling ill, so I was really upset. I was practically crying because I was like, I don't know if I should just sit in the bus, but I really don't want to miss Wayland Smithy and all of this. So I tried. I was like, I'm going to do it. And when we got up to the hills, I wasn't even worried about seeing the Uffington White Horse, honestly. Like, I got a glimpse of it. I didn't even really take a picture of it. I took a little quick video from the side, and that was it, because I was just like, I need to make it to Wayland Smithy, because that's the thing I really want to see, and then I'm getting out of here, I'm going home, so that I can just be sick at home in the hotel or wherever we were at the time. But once we got up higher on the hills, because we had to go over the hills into the site of what used to be Uffington Castle, the Uffington Castle grounds or something like that, the mound. The wind is just crazy up there, and you know me, I'm a little tiny wind-blown thing as it is. I had to walk diagonally to the wind, because even though I'm small, facing front or facing completely to the side, I was still getting blown back, so I had to kind of walk at a weird diagonal angle. But anyway, it was just this experience of, you know, I was feeling sick, I really wanted to make it to this thing where I thought I was going to have a great experience at Wayland Smithy, but then walking on these fields, and the wind, like I said, was just insane. I had never experienced a wind like this before, and it just really felt like to me that everything I had been worrying about, all my sick feelings, everything was just getting literally blown away, but not just blown, stripped away. These are hard winds. And by the time we reached the top, everyone was having such a good time, and they were all happy that I had decided to do the walk with the group and not stay in the bus and be a party pooper. So everyone thought, like, oh, let's get a group picture together, and you know, people were lifting up their jackets and trying to fly against the wind, and it was just super fun. And to me, the winds of Uffington are something that I will never forget, and even to this day, when I feel like I really need the experience of things just being blown off me, gone forever, I remember that day. So yeah, there are just some really cool experiences that I've had in nature, and then there are some little epiphanies that I've had of receiving messages and just finally getting things. I consider those things really profound. They're right in front of you, but you don't see them, and then the moment that your mind kind of opens up to it and you're like, oh, that's what it's been about all this time. Those are the things that I think are really profound. So it's 2014. I've actually got some reading to do. I'm going to try to read even more books this year than I did last year. I've got some great projects coming up for my channel and for my life in general that I will be making videos about. I'm going to be taking some trips. I'm going to be meeting some people. It's going to be a really great year. Thank you so much for being here. And I do want to warn you in advance that we do have enough topics to last us for months. But I've actually always wanted to do some fun things with the channel where instead of answering a question, all of us do something together but separately, you know, like have our videos about something else, not necessarily answering a question, or doing something else fun, or just talking about ourselves, or doing an activity, something like that. But I've always felt bad taking a pause to do fun things like that when we do have such a long list of questions to get through. So please give me your opinion. I may go ahead and do this anyway regardless, but I would like to know some opinions about whether you think I should really just push through all of the questions that we've been getting, because we do have a lot of them and I would hate to make them wait even longer than they do, or if you think that it would be worthwhile for you as viewers to have us do some other things as well that would, hopefully, I want to bring, you know, our members together more. And Eric and I have been talking, and some of the past members, Eric really wants us to all get together in person somehow if we could. And if that were financially and time-wise feasible for us, that would be something that I would absolutely love us to do. I want the Pagan Perspective to be something a little more cohesive in everyone's minds. And I know, for example, Megan and Delia talk about how much they love the channel all the time, and I want to make sure that everyone loves it as much as we do and knows how much I appreciate all of the other members being here and doing these videos all the time. It really is a time commitment, and you're all great. I've worked with great people over the years on this channel, and I only hope to continue to meet great people in this process. Wow, has it been awesome. And a big thank you to our viewers for being here as well. So let me know your thoughts on that, and yeah, just thanks so much. This could not have happened without you watching and asking us your questions. So I'll see you next time, and until then, don't forget to be awesome. I'm wearing my shirt right now. Blessed be, and goodbye.